Stop scrolling if you're a witch or you love witches, because this is fucking witch tea, where I'm going to talk to you about some witch shit while I'm drinking tea. You can drink tea too if you like. So the tea today is men, but it's tarot men, right? It's the tarot masculine energy is what tea we're going to be talking about today. This guy, let's talk about him. This is the King of Wands, okay? Now, the King of Wands is the fire king. He's the fire daddy, right? Now, he's got feelings. He's got feelings, so many feelings, right? Now, he is Cancer, Leo energy, right? So he is the energy of like a bit of a spiritual feeler, right? Like does like relationships, not great at following the rules or being disciplined or having like logical kind of thinking, right? Mr. King of Wands, right? Fire daddy. You know, he got a bit of an ego, right? Big ego. It's the energy of like wanting to always go big or go home, to grow, like doesn't really like changing too much though, right? Like wants to grow, wants everything to be big, like big feelings, big ego, big decisions. But seeing things from a different perspective and trying to pivot, bit uncomfortable. Logical thinking, right? Bit uncomfortable. Okay. Little bit of a fucking know-it-all, right? Like little bit of a know-it-all. And you know, he can learn from the past. He's quite good at learning from the past. But with that, like learning from the past, he likes to kind of call that in when he needs to like be a little bit manipulative, right? Mr. Fire Daddy. And he, you know, he has a lot of karmic gifts. He has a lot of karmic energy. But again, the logical thinking component, not great. And like moving out of his comfort zone, not great. Bit of a stomping foot little toddler, right? Okay. Let's talk about Love Daddy, right? Water Daddy, Mr. King of Cups. Okay, so Mr. King of Cups, he a Libra Scorpio, right? He a Libra Scorpio. So he is an overthinker, right? He got a big brain. He likes to think about a lot of logical things. He's very comfortable like moving forward. He wants to like go towards his greatest goals, right? He doesn't really like taking risks and is potentially dealing with a lot of past karma, right? But, you know, when he's coming out like this in the upright, that's okay, because that means he's kind of learned from the lessons, okay? Now, he is, when it comes to his emotional nature, right? Like he can be a little bit dark. He got a little bit of a dark side, right? And potentially, depending on what other cards he coming out with, he a bit of a spicy daddy on the emotional side, right? And he is very good at pivoting. That's what also makes him a good spicy daddy. He's very good at pivoting, right? He's very good at that. He can see things from an external perspective. Now, he is a little bit uncomfortable with feelings and with relationships because he has that dark side and because, like, he's learned a lot of lessons from the past that he doesn't really enjoy, right? So he does like relationships, but he is a little bit dark in the feelings component because he is comfortable in that kind of darkness, right? That little bit of a dark, spicy daddy, okay? Little bit, you know, logical thinking and like having to kind of communicate can be a little bit of a challenge with him because of the overthinking, right? Because of the overthinking. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing because there is a darkness to him, right? But all in all, King of Cups, he's an excellent daddy in the deck, okay? Now, let's talk about Mr. King of Pentacles, right? Money daddy, Earth daddy, okay? So Earth daddy, Mr. King of Pentacles, he's the fiery daddy, okay? Fiery daddy, very fucking driven, right? Very driven daddy, this one. So he is like, he want to be a teacher. So he can be a bit of a know-it-all, right? He can a little bit of a know-it-all, but he does know things, right? He's learned a lot from the past. Very, you know, I've learned a lot from the past. I've got a lot of knowledge. So he knows how to work hard, right? Because he's Aries Taurus. So he can start shit and he can kind of work hard, right? And this particular, you know, money daddy, logical thinking and like being out of his comfort zone, that Taurus component, it doesn't really like it. It doesn't like it. And because of that Aries component as well, he's more of a starter, not a like go to the end of the goal kind of host, right? So there is that kind of aspect to him that he can be a little bit materialistic in that way, right? But in the Taurus side of it, he is the lover, right? He is a bit heart ruled. So he does tend to make, even though he's making money decisions, he is making them with like relationships in mind and with love in mind and with feelings in mind. Okay. Taking action, because he can be a little bit stubborn, right? You know, money daddy, he could be a little bit stubborn, earth daddy. He sometimes finds it hard to take action and can be a bit uncomfortable when it comes to needing to get out like a negative emotion like anger. Okay. Does get a little bit fucking uncomfortable with having to see things from a perspective that he's not used to seeing it in, right? He does have a logical thinking component to him, so he is quite smart, so he can do it. He just doesn't really fucking like it. Can be very stubborn in his ways, right? And can be somebody who is not great at understanding the spiritual side of the world, right? Money daddy, earth daddy. That's that. You want fire daddy or water daddy if you want someone who can get a bit spiritual with you. This one can. He does have the ability to do it, but it will make him a little bit uncomfortable at first, okay? And relationships can be a little bit of a struggle for this guy. Even though he does keep it in mind, even though he does like a good relationship, there can be a little bit of a struggle with it because he might be very work orientated when you want him to be love orientated. So if you a lover, you a lover, this one, it could be a little bit, you might have to do a little bit of work to get that lover side of him, okay? But all in all, you know, he's stable. He's stable, he's responsible, he works hard. Okay, he does have a lover component to him, right? Let's talk about air daddy, right? Air daddy, this talking daddy, right? This weirdo daddy. We like him. Right, King of Swords, he Capricorn Aquarius. So he weirdo, he a little bit kind of stubborn, he a little bit fucking rebellious in a way, right? So this is like smart daddy. He got a lot of fucking information. He can be very critical, but he's being very critical because he wants to help, right? You know, Air Daddy wants to help. You know, he wants to come in with his information. He's got a lot of information. He doesn't really like things that like aren't solid, right? Like he needs it to logic. We need logic, Air Daddy. You need logic, a little bit uncomfortable in spiritual space. He can find a way to understand it, right? He definitely can, but you have to kind of speak to him in logical kind of information, right? He's a bit, you know, even though you say air and you think floaty, but he not. He need logic, right? So a little bit of a struggle in relationships because of that, right? Because relationships do contain a little bit of a component of magic. So he can be a little bit like, oh, I want to be logical in love, right? And then because he has the Aquarius component, they're a little bit of fucking rebellion to this one. Like he like rules because he can make his own rules and he can follow them. Okay, he can follow his own rules. And again, like he'll think his way through it. He got the logic to think his way through it. He can see things from an external perspective. That's why he's very helpful. He comes in, one of his love languages is definitely bringing information and help, right? So he doesn't like, you know, I was going to say he doesn't like ego, but he does have a problem balancing confidence and ego, right? So he tends to either feel like people see him as egotistical when he's just confident, or he thinks he's egotistical when he's just confident, or people do see him as egotistical because he does come across that way a little bit. Okay. Especially if he kind of talks himself into it and he gets into this position of kind of uncomfortable, being too big uncomfortably with information and everyone's kind of looking at him. That's when that'll feed his fucking ego. And that's when he will come across egotistical. But he's probably just trying to help out, right? Air Daddy just wants to kind of come in with information and help you out. He overthinks quite a lot. He likes to move forward. He's always kind of trying to find something new, something big, something to challenge him. Okay. But taking risks, not great because probably had a lot of shit happen to him in the past with like bad karma, not that lucky with like taking risks. Okay. So he's not really a risk taker, even though he's a little bit rebellious. Like if he's going to take a risk, he's definitely going to like get the information first. Right. So if you a talker, you like someone who talks, you like to share information, then Air Daddy, you want him showing up. Okay. Let's talk about the daddy of all daddies, Mr. the fucking Emperor. Okay. Now, the Emperor, he Mars energy, right? He's fire. He's Aries Scorpio. So he's fire, literal fire. And then he is like water, but he like a fucking tsunami, right? Like he brings change. He's totally comfortable starting something. He's totally comfortable bringing like transforming something completely. All right. He understands that sometimes you have to wait. He understands that sometimes you have to put a lot of work in order to move forward, in order to align. He's absolutely quite happy to knock his own fucking tower down to change his life, okay? He's the ultimate daddy, the emperor. He covers all of the things, right? Dark, deep feelings, fiery, childlike fun, responsibility, right? So let's just quickly, before I end this fucking witch tea, which has been one of the longest ones, quickly. In the upright, the emperor is someone who is in control and responsible, starts shit, happy in the taboo, will burn his life to the ground and start again if he fucking needs to. In the reverse, Mr. Emperor, you are emotionally manipulative because you are trying to control things, right? This is a mean daddy. Mr. Logical is very disciplined about the way that he chooses to live his life, has a very logic-based rule structure for himself that he would like to keep to, okay? In the reverse, you're going to get Gemini poisoning from Air Daddy, okay? In the reverse, this is someone who is manipulative. This is someone who lies. This is someone who stirs shit up for the fucking sake of it, right? Earth Daddy, Mr. King of Pentacles in the upright, responsible, good with money, good with business, very stable, wants to be a protector, wants to look after you. In the reverse, he's materialistic. He's egotistical about what he has. He focuses on work instead of anything else. He puts work before everything else. And he got an obsession with work and money. Okay. Very egotistical. Okay. Wants you to make him look good. Doesn't want to put in the work for it. Okay. Mr. King of Cups, right? Love daddy, water daddy, okay? In the upright, very comfortable having emotional conversations, brings a lot of emotional support, likes to do things from intuition, understands emotion, right? Loves that shit. In the reverse, emotionally manipulative, stomping foot little baby, right? Will use his emotions to create situations where you'll do whatever the fuck he wants, okay? We don't like this. Fire daddy, very passionate in the upright, okay? Can be a little bit too passionate, right? Meaning that they probably got a temper. Easy to be like triggered into some kind of big emotion, right? Very emotional, but likes to be seen as like masculine fire, right? But very emotional. Got a bit of an ego, but in the upright, it's kind of a fun ego, right? Like there's a confidence to it, okay? In the reverse, that's really the best explanation in the reverse. This is an egotistical narcissist in the reverse, okay? This is someone who is only in it for the spicy times. This is someone who you up at 3 a.m., okay? Gross. We don't want it. Egotistical. No, thank you, okay? That's the witch tea on the tarot daddies, okay? Stay weird.